Welcome to Deep Thought. Most people fit into archetypes. Most people fit into archetypes. And when I say archetypes, even deeper than, something that, a famous person such as Carl Jung might have thought about. Or, and that's something in indigenous cultures, everybody fits into an archetype. See, I'm gonna tell you what, subconsciously, we're always looking at people, not for who they are, but what archetype they fit into. Like, I'm known for talking about social class. I've talked about it here. I talk about it a lot on my main channel. But each social class has a certain archetype. If you look at anything online about archetypes, or social classes rather, you will see they will have a representative. They'll say this the type of person who represents this class. Because unfortunately, most of us are not someone who will lead, someone who will follow their own path. When people are wearing a same style or thinking they got to be something to do whatever in life, that's an archetype. Like, I'll use the example from relationships. There's a lot of people out there, men and women, who think, well, especially men who think women just want thugs or bad boys. So what they do, they try to present that image. They will try to present that image. And then you have certain archetypes of people who are successful, or archetypes of people who, quite frankly, ain't doing crap with their lives. See, one of the things is, as most of us, we follow, we don't create on our own. So we look for images to follow. One thing that theys do, they will use the media to put out certain images, and people will follow that. Indeed, that's one thing with following certain images. I've had people contact me and say, yeah, Uncle Rom, I'm talking just like you. I'm trying to walk like you. I'm trying to be like you. I was like, don't do that. You got to follow yourself. But see, those are the archetypes. Those are the archetypes. Like I said, and every society will have them depending on the social mores and everything. Yeah, there's a deeper level that's going down to the subconscious that somebody like Carl Jung might talk about. And even some indigenous cultures, they might use elements, wind, earth, fire, metal, wood, things of that nature. If you look at a lot of indigenous cultures, like in West Africa, or if you look at something like the Chinese Bagua, that's an archetype system, the Chinese Bagua. When they talk about earth yang, or, water, or metal yin, those are archetypes. But then in a society, in a culture, we have archetypes that are created, through media, primarily through media, even through religion, sometimes even government laws. When you'll have someone who's famous or something, they behave in a certain way, people try to emulate that, most people. Now, you got some people, they don't follow the crowd, but they hard to read. Like let me use a social class example. You have some people, you can't look at them and tell what their class is. You can't tell, or it shifts around. And why is that? Why is that? Because that person doesn't follow. You get some people, they just kind of outside of it. You can't figure out what to do with that person. Because every time we meet somebody, every single time, no matter who we are, what do? We try to size them up. We try to put them into a box. See, that box are archetypes. Boxes are archetypes. So we'll see that person, or like a woman might see that person who's wearing like some tennis shoes, like jeans, maybe distressed jeans or skinny jeans, maybe a t-shirt, and put them into an archetype. And they'll say what's giving to them. That's an archetype right there. Whereas that same person, they'll have one image of that person. But if that same person puts on some like nice shoes, a nice suit, tie, got their hair, cut in a conservative way, then they're put into another archetype. And are y'all getting what I'm saying? Think about it. I want y'all to think about it when y'all looking at people. You don't know them. But based on the image that they present, the archetype they're presenting, you start thinking a certain way, you know? Or, you know, one of the things they'll call it is stereotypes too, but those are nothing but archetypes. And that's what people might be comfortable with. But then when they meet you and you don't fit into anything, they're sitting there like, what's up with that person? What's up with that person? And see, that really messes with someone's head. But see, you don't have most of the population like that, because let's be real, most of the population is a herd. Most of the population is following something. Like when you have clothing designers and they say, hey, this is the hottest thing to wear. And usually what they'll have is they'll have a celebrity wear it or something. But it's not, it's controlled. Like when you have advertising and everything. Like that's an important thing. Look at advertising, look at commercials. I'm always saying look at commercials. Look at commercials. They promoting certain things. They have certain archetypes. I don't care what it is, what they're talking about. Whenever I see that, even on some YouTube videos that will use outside images, stock images and stuff, I'm like, okay, what's up with that person? What are they trying to present? Like, look at let's go back to the commercials for a second. If they're trying to sell something, they will present certain archetypes, because what that will do is go into your subconscious, and then you associating a product, usually a product or a service with a certain archetype, it'll make you buy quicker. Like, I'll tell you a basic one. You look at some of those motor magazines now. I'm not into them, but I remember I would go to a magazine shop and you'll see like a fine woman on the cover of something with a motorcycle or some type of car that's fixed up, right? And you will see that and you'll be like, oh. And usually the woman drew you to the magazine, and I would check. I wouldn't see any women in the magazine. But I thought about that. I said, hold up. Somebody might associate having that particular motorcycle, that particular vehicle with getting a beautiful woman. That's an archetype. That's how they work. Because most of us, when we're looking into things, we associating like that image with something else, good or bad. So it's like, and most people, and like I said, most people fit into something because most people are followers. Most people ain't following their own thing. When you get people wearing a certain type of shoes, those are archetypes. You know, it's said, yeah, if you wear these shoes, that could be something. I saw that when I was little. I remember it was a big thing to get PF flyers and everything, and you supposedly was supposed to be faster. And I remember wearing some and racing somebody, and I still lost. I'm like, but that's the thing. You know, advertisers, the theys who want to control people, they'll present certain archetypes of people. Very important. And advertisers know this, marketers know this. That's their thing. You know, when they create a commercial or something, they're using archetypes. I want y'all to think about that, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for now. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.